Well, I heard the news. That's good to rockin' tonight. Well, I heard the news. That's good to rockin' tonight. I'm gonna hold my baby as tight as I can. Tonight she'll know I'm a mighty, mighty man. I heard the news. There's good to rockin' tonight.
Presley has to be one of the most outstanding people that it's been my pleasure to meet in my lifetime. After listening to his voice, seeing his demeanor, his manner, and what I thought was a very different style, I was highly impressed with what I thought he could do as an artist. And regardless of what happened to Elvis in his latter years, he had one of the strongest souls and spirits about him of any person I've ever seen. Well, you say you had something to do with the guy being on the scene. Sure as hell did. Sure did. But you have to keep in mind what we were doing at Sun Records with Elvis Presley. And so it turned out that Elvis was a great catalyst for all of the things that we did at Sun. But you had to have a feeling that this man had the strength and the worth within him to go on and to go on and to go on until we made it, or by golly, we didn't make it. It is no mystery at all to me that the man has become the biggest thing in the history of entertainment. I know that some of you may differ with me. When you have the things that have been said about Elvis Presley, bad, good, indifferent, and you survive them as if you were a duck in a fresh pond, there's got to be something in your soul, in your spirit, that you have left along the way. Because you're not going to sustain yourself head and shoulders above practically anybody I've ever known in the entertainment business. And I'm not biased about it. And have it go on year in, year out, year in, year out, worldwide. Try that one on for size. He had had a background there at Sun Records that I truly feel, and I'm not being modest or immodest about it, that gave him that inertia to go in and feel confidence in himself and what he wanted to do, and even say, even though he said yes sir to everybody and no sir, he would tell them in his own way that this was his session when he went to RCA. That had a lot to do with Elvis Presley being what he became. And that came from the essence of these things that we were fundamentally talking about and talking about fundamentally. I just wish that everybody could have known Elvis Presley like I did.
Just before we came on the air, they asked me to ask you, of all, leaving aside yourself now, of all the performers that you've seen in action, who do you reckon was the best?
The best performer, probably Elvis Presley. I don't think anybody could touch him.
Yeah, go back to Elvis for a minute. What do you reckon Elvis had that was so outstanding?
Well, he had a lot of rhythm. He was a very good singer, and he was a fabulous performer, and the way he moved the people. When he was 19 years old is when I toured with him at first. And not only the girls loved Elvis, but every man backstage was standing in the wings watching Elvis. He had that charisma, that magic, you know, that a great performer needs to get the people right there. Elvis always did that.
Yeah, he never came in our direction, so I never had the chance to see him in person, but apparently he had a tremendous magnetism on stage.
Yeah, he did. It was fabulous. I think his manager was an illegal alien or something and wouldn't let him come. I don't know.
Right.
We have to ask you, and we've heard Todd talking about Elvis, calling him a shy man off stage.
Mm-hmm.
You actually knew him, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was he shy?
He really was, Kathy. He was, Yeah, I was never around a guy with so much energy. Back in the early days, in 1954 and 55, until Elvis left Sun, we worked together quite a bit. We worked the little schoolhouse gymnasiums, flatbed trucks around eastern Arkansas. He really was a shy boy, but he would never sit around a lot, you know. Some of the other dudes, Johnny Cash and I, would be sitting there talking about olden times, and Elvis would be climbing a ladder backstage with a water pistol shooting at us. He had a world of energy. And a lot of times when he was on the stage, of course, he always had to be last. The worst mistake ever made was trying to put Elvis on first. Nobody could follow him. And a lot of times, I would be standing beside the stage, and somebody would say, "What's he doing now?" I say, "He ain't done nothing yet. He moved a little finger." And the crowd would be just screaming and hollering. Really, Kathy, I have, from the side of the stage, watched kids pull fingernails off and never knew it happened till the next day. He mesmerized them just
sort of
by.
adulation is incredible, isn't it?
It really was.
Do you think it was more then than it is nowadays? I mean, pop stars nowadays have a lot to put up with in terms of lack of privacy and so on. Was it worse in the 50s and 60s?
Well, with Elvis, and thanks to him, a little of it rubbed off on us. They started tearing his clothes. They would chase me, and I'd run slow, you know, because I didn't mind them catching me. I like to say, "Hey, I got it."
You hung around with it.
But it was such a hysterical thing. I don't think we'll ever see that in an entertainer, a single entertainer that really had it all. He had the looks, he had the moves, then he had the management, but most of all, he had that one something that nobody will ever be able to figure out exactly what it was, the whole world. He'll never go away.
What was it about him that made him so great, in your opinion?
Well, just an electrifying artist, different style. He was good. And you're good, you're good. You don't have to take a back seat to anybody, you know. And Elvis, he never had to take a back seat. He was, when he walked out on stage, he demanded attention.
Jerry, you once told me you had several favorite rock and roll songs, but one of your all-time favorite rock and roll songs was "Don't Be Cruel."
Mm-hmm.
And
really?
Why was that, Jerry?
I don't know, I just thought it was one of the greatest songs I ever heard.
This guy in Las Vegas, Billy Ward and his dominoes. Billy Ward and his dominoes. There's a guy out there who was doing a takeoff on me. Don't be cruel. He tried so hard until he got much better, boy. Much better than that record of mine. Oh, no, wait now. I mean, it's this way. He was real slender. He was a colored guy. He got up there and he said, he had a little slower than me. Started off. He said, what key did I do it in? What key did I do Don't Be Cruel in? D? He said, hey, you know I can't be found. Wait, son. Sitting home all alone. If you can't come around, at least a telephone. He said, Harley, this is your Harley. He said, well, baby, if I made you mad, something I might have said. Please, forget my past. Don't you look right ahead. You know what I want you to say. Don't to be cruel, talk to a Harley, that's true. The ending voice said, well, I don't want to know other love, but baby, it's just you I'm thinking of.